You are spending $500 a year on chicken feed. And your chickens are eating processed grain that was shipped across the country. And you are locked into a system where food prices keep rising and your flock depends entirely on the feed store staying stocked. And the reason this is happening is because you think chickens need commercial feed to survive. But chickens are omnivores that evolved to find their own food. And for thousands of years, farmyard chickens fed themselves completely without a single bag of purchased grain. And this is the system that will cut your feed costs to almost zero. Here is what I am going to show you. I am going to show you the three-system method that provides free chicken feed 365 days a year by combining fodder production, insect cultivation, and strategic foraging. And these are not supplemental feeding strategies. These are complete nutrition systems that eliminate your dependence on commercial feed while producing healthier eggs and more vigorous birds. The method has three interconnected systems that work together to provide complete nutrition. System 1 is fodder production, which provides fresh greens and sprouted grains every single day. System 2 is insect farming, which delivers high-protein live food that chickens crave. And System 3 is managed foraging, which lets chickens harvest their own food while improving your land. And when you combine all three, your feed costs drop to practically nothing. Here is why most chicken keepers fail at this. They try to eliminate commercial feed overnight without establishing reliable alternative systems first. And their chickens go hungry or egg production crashes. Or they set up one system like a small fodder tray but never scale it to meet the flock's actual needs. So it becomes a hobby project instead of a real feeding solution. Or they let chickens free range without managed rotation and the birds destroy the pasture, eat all available insects in 2 weeks, then go back to standing around waiting for feed. The fundamental mistake is thinking free feeding means no system at all. But chickens need consistent nutrition every single day. And providing that without commercial feed requires deliberate planning and multiple food sources working in rotation. The three-system method works because it follows three biological laws that commercial agriculture ignores. Law 1. Chickens need both plant and animal protein, which means greens alone will not sustain them and grain alone will not sustain them. They need both. Law 2. Fresh food beats processed food every time. Chickens eating live insects and fresh fodder produce richer yolks and stronger shells than chickens eating pellets. And Law 3. Diversity equals resilience. Multiple food sources mean your flock never depends on a single input that can fail. John Seymour wrote that the traditional farmyard chicken was not fed. It fed itself. It scratched in the manure heap for worms, gleaned spilled grain from the barn floor, hunted insects in the hedgerows, and ate kitchen scraps and garden waste. And this chicken cost nothing to keep. It turned waste into eggs and meat. And it was healthier than modern confined chickens because it ate what chickens evolved to eat, which is fresh greens, live insects, seeds, and anything else they could find. This is not a romantic fantasy. This is how every country household kept chickens for centuries. And it still works today. System 1 is fodder production. Fodder is sprouted grain that you grow in trays and feed to chickens as fresh greens. And the process is simple. You soak wheat, barley, or oats in water for 12 hours, drain them, spread them in shallow trays, and rinse twice daily. Within 7 days, you have thick mats of green sprouts that chickens devour completely. 1 pound of dry grain becomes 6 to 8 pounds of fresh fodder. And fodder provides vitamins, minerals, and fiber that chickens need. The key is running multiple trays on a rotation so that every day one tray is ready to harvest while others are at different growth stages. For a flock of 12 chickens, you need about 6 to 8 trays in rotation producing roughly 3 to 4 pounds of fodder daily. The grain cost is minimal, maybe $50 per year, compared to $300 for commercial feed providing the same nutrition. System 2 is insect farming. Chickens need protein and their preferred source is live insects. The black soldier fly larvae system is the most productive because these larvae consume kitchen scraps and garden waste, then become protein-rich food for chickens. You build or buy a simple bin, add soldier fly larvae or let wild flies colonize it naturally, and feed the bin your food scraps. The larvae grow fat eating the waste, then crawl out seeking places to pupate. You collect them as they emerge and feed them to chickens immediately. A single bin can produce 2 to 4 pounds of larvae per week, which is enough protein for 10 to 15 chickens. And the larvae turn your garbage into chicken feed for free. System 3 is managed foraging using rotational grazing, where chickens access fresh pasture in controlled sections rather than destroying one permanent run. You divide your chicken yard into 3 to 4 sections using temporary fencing. Here is what the numbers actually look like. Commercial feed for 12 chickens costs roughly $40 to $50 per month, which is $480 to $600 annually. The 3-system method costs maybe $50 in grain for fodder, plus minimal setup costs for bins and fencing that last for years. That is a $450 to $550 annual savings. And the eggs from system-fed chickens have darker yolks, stronger shells, and better flavor because the chickens are eating natural diverse diets. This is not about chickens. This is about breaking dependence on purchased inputs and reclaiming the skills that made our grandparents resilient. Every bag of commercial feed you do not buy is money that stays in your pocket and independence you gain back. And once you understand that chickens can feed themselves when given the right systems, you start seeing all your homestead expenses differently. Because if chickens do not need purchased feed, what else do you buy that you could produce yourself? This question changes everything. Picture yourself walking into your chicken yard carrying a tray of fresh green fodder. The chickens rushing toward you like you are bringing treasure. And you are, because this fodder cost you almost nothing and your chickens know fresh food when they see it. Then you scatter a scoop of black soldier fly larvae and watch your flock hunt them down with pure joy. And later you rotate them into a fresh paddock where they immediately start scratching for insects and pecking at clover. And you are not hauling 50-pound bags from the feed store anymore. You are not worried about feed prices rising or shortages happening. Because your chickens are feeding themselves using systems you built once and maintain with minimal effort. And your egg basket is full and your feed bill is gone. Here is what most people miss about the 3-system method. It is not 3 separate projects. It is one integrated cycle where each system supports the others. The fodder trays sit near the chicken yard so you can harvest and feed in one trip. The black soldier fly bin processes the kitchen scraps that you would throw away anyway. And the rotational paddocks use the same space your chickens already occupy, just divided and managed instead of continuously grazed into dirt. The setup happens in stages over a few weeks, not all at once. Week 1, you build your fodder trays and start your first batch of sprouting grain. Week 2, while the fodder is growing, you set up the black soldier fly bin and begin adding scraps. Week 3, you install simple fencing to create rotational paddocks. And by week 4, all 3 systems are running and your chickens are transitioning off commercial feed. The maintenance is minimal once the systems are established. Fodder trays take 10 minutes twice a day to rinse. The soldier fly bin needs scraps added daily, which you are producing anyway. And rotating chickens between paddocks takes 5 minutes every few days. Total time investment is maybe 30 minutes daily, which is less time than driving to the feed store every month and hauling heavy bags. And here is the part that changes everything. These systems improve over time instead of degrading. The rotational paddocks become more productive as chicken manure fertilizes the grass and insects multiply. The fodder operation gets faster as you refine your routine. And the black soldier fly colony establishes itself and produces consistently without you needing to buy more larvae. So start today by choosing one system to implement first. Build fodder trays and start your first batch of sprouting grain. Or set up a black soldier fly bin and begin turning scraps into protein. Or divide your chicken yard into rotational paddocks. Master one system, then add the next. And within a season, you will have chickens feeding themselves while your feed costs drop to almost nothing. Commercial feed is not inevitable. It is a choice. And the 3-system method is how you choose freedom instead.